guys have to understand when you get to, let's just talk the Power Four, you're not just facing D1 commits. You're facing guys that are about to be first-round draft picks, second-round draft picks.
Level. This is why.
Okay, guys, so I think it's pretty obvious why freshman hitters come into college baseball and they struggle, right? The stuff's way better than they've ever faced before in their life. I had some guys comment recently, well, the division I played in high school had, 10 D1 commits or something like that. What you guys have to understand is that when you get to, let's just talk the Power Four, you're not just facing D1 commits. You're facing guys that are about to be first-round draft picks, second-round draft picks. So these are like the elite of the elite with 2 or 3 years of development on top of that in college. So when you think, oh, well, I'm faced this D1 commit, the reality is that probably 50 to 60% of the D1 commits you guys face are going to be non-contributors to their team and end up going in the portal or cut and having to go to lower levels, right? So that... Don't just rest on your laurels because you feel like you've had success against D1 commits. But back towards pitching, right? We understand why hitting is difficult. Guys throw harder. Everything stuff's better. Velocity's better. Command's better. Everything like that. We understand that. Why do pitchers as freshmen struggle so much? What's the reasoning behind that? And I think there's multiple reasons. But number one, all right, we're going to draw kind of a home plate here. And here's a strike zone, for example. Now, these dotted lines are going to be kind of like a little off the corner where you're going to get that call pretty consistently. That inch off the plate, inch and a half off the plate where, it looks like it crossed the plate or something like that, you're going to get it. The reason that you guys as pitchers struggle so much going from high school to college is because this is the strike zone in high school. Right, that's it's maybe a little bit dramatic, but that's the reality. Is the strike zone in high school, whether it's travel ball, whether it's in school ball, is so much bigger than what you'll face in college. You guys don't really know what the strike zone is. You see it all the time. Watch a college baseball game this year. You'll see freshmen on the mound. He'll throw a pitch that is 4 inches off the plate, and he'll kind of stop, pause, look at the umpire, and then looking at the coach like, where is that at? When in reality, it's like it's 4 inches off the plate. But you're so used to what the strike zone is out of high school that it takes you, sometimes guys, multiple years to really be able to adjust and understand where the strike zone actually is. It's actually that home plate, right? It's not an inch off the plate. It's not 3 inches off the plate. It's got to cross that plate at some point. So I had this conversation on stream a couple days ago that, what's a good strike percentage rate for a high school pitcher? And someone said, well, I'm hovering around 63% right now. And I said, it's a pretty good indicator that whatever your strike percentage is in high school will go down probably 10%, okay? Whatever your strike percentage is. So if you're throwing 60% strikes in high school, it's probably going down to 50. Because how many of those pitches are called strikes that are way off the plate and a hitter's never going to even go after? A hitter's never going to go after. And I'll say it's a bigger adjustment now than it was when I was playing. Because let's say if I'm a left-handed hitter, and this is a left-handed hitter right here on this side of the plate, 3-4 inches off, so right here, that was like a strike every time when I was playing. You just knew if a guy could command out there, you had to get on top of the plate because this was always going to be a strike. This spot right here. So again, pitchers, the strike zone was bigger when I was playing in college just a little over 10 years ago. That's something a lot of people don't talk about in the big leagues as well. We've all seen the video of Livan Hernandez throwing pitches 7 inches off the plate and striking out a bunch of guys, and hitters not even getting upset. Stuff may be a little bit better in the big leagues now, but the strike zone's that big. When it used to be, you used to be able to drive a bus through it back in the 90s and the 80s. So this is number one, right? Number one is strike zone. Strike zone is way tighter. Okay, so number one, this is the first big adjustment you guys will face, because what's the most important thing in pitching is getting ahead of the hitter. Getting ahead 0-1, getting ahead from a 1-1 to a 1-2. And if the strike zone's smaller, that's more difficult. You're going to end up in more 2-1 counts, 3-1 counts, 1-0 counts, and guys are going to be able to tee off, right? They're going to be looking dead red, and if you throw it over the plate, these are hitters that are way better than what you faced in high school, which leads me into number two. Hitters are way better. Which makes sense, right? You went to dominating. Most kids in high school are not playing in college, so of course your high 80s, low 90s fastball is just going to blow guys away. Well, you get to college, and again, let's use Power 4 for example. 88 to 91 is a slightly below average fastball at the Power 4 level. Average fastball at that in the SEC and the ACC is going to hover around 90 to 92 essentially. So if you're 88 to 91, you got a below average fastball. That's not going to be getting guys. You're not going to be blowing guys away with that, unless you're a guy that really hides it well, or maybe you got really good four-seam ride on it, or maybe it's a really good sinker. Right? There's things besides velo that matter, but the velocity itself is not above average. It's not even average. And so if you're in a 2-0 count in college and you can't command that changeup or that slider or the curveball for a strike to kind of get you back into the count, you're done. I mean, 2-0, 89, that's getting teed off on in college baseball. So the strike zone being tighter, it's a lot harder to throw strikes consistently. Hitters are way better, so mistakes are going to get punished. You fall behind, you're going to get punished. And then, number three, balls equals juiced. Now, a lot of you guys don't think this is kind of a made-up thing. I get hate on it from social media all the time because guys say, well, players are just stronger than they've ever been, and swings are better. And 10 years ago we had the weight room. We worked out every day. Guys are not stronger than people have ever been before. Maybe that's the case from guys working out. Maybe that's from the guys in the 1960s, 1970s. But certainly, 10-year span, guys are not that much stronger. Home run rates have more than doubled in the last 3 or 4 years. And every year, they're going up. The home run rates, home runs per game are going up. Right? Home run records are being broken from before the BB core bats, the BESR bats that we had to get rid of because we were scared pitchers were going to get killed on the mound. That's how bad it was. Well, we're breaking home run records from that era. So either players are taking steroids or the balls are juiced. And the bat technology is also increased, and we'll include that, right? Bats are better as well. So as a pitcher now, again, when I was playing, it was basically the dead ball era. From 2011 to 2015, brand new BB core bats that were terrible, and the balls were, high seam, almost like a high school ball, went nowhere. So if you were a pitcher, you could come in with good stuff. You're not going to get abused because the balls were just going nowhere. Again, if you hit like 50 plus home runs as a team in 2011 to 2014, you had a good power hitting lineup. Now it's like you got to hit 120 to be thought of as like a team with a lot of power. That's how much things have changed. So strike zone's tighter, hitters are way better, and now guys don't really even have to square it up to hit it out of the park. I saw so many swings in the last couple of years doing broadcasts for ACC Network where guys are doing butt out swings. They're fighting a pitch off, getting jammed, and then all of a sudden you're watching the outfielder run back and it goes over the fence. That's how crazy this is. So again, you leave a mistake pitch over the middle because you fell behind 2-0, it's more than likely that thing's going for extra bases and probably a home run. So again, home runs per game now, it's like over 2 home runs per game on average in college baseball. So you're going to give up a few. And again, what does this mean you guys have to work on if you're pitchers? You know what the adjustment is now. So when you're throwing your bullpens, hold yourself accountable to throwing it in a tight strike zone. It's not going to be as tight as the big leagues, but they have TrackMan now in college baseball, so those umpires they're way tighter than they used to be because they actually look at those reports and see where they're messing up and they try to improve. Hitters are way better. So again, it's not just about throwing strikes, right? That's control. Control is great. You can throw strikes consistently. But if they're constantly in the heart of the plate, man, you're really good at throwing strikes just right down the middle. You're going to get lit up too. So let's practice attacking these parts of the zone. And if you miss in any quadrant like this, you stay out of this heart and stay outside of these dotted lines, you're going to have a lot of success in college baseball. If you can command this area really, really consistently, you're going to do great. You're going to do great. It's not about velo, guys. Like location and changing speeds, as long as you have a decent enough velo, you will have great numbers in college baseball if you can command this area of the strike zone. No question. All right? So practice that in your bullpens this winter. If you're already committed, you've got to start thinking like this. You've got to start thinking, I can't just throw strikes down the middle. I got to be able to throw strikes, but around the edges of the zone. Everyone's going to make mistakes, but our goal is to develop and put ourselves on a course where we're going to end up being a solid, above-average contributor in college baseball right away. Because most guys, when they throw bullpens, I'll just tell you, they're just like, they really are not even thinking about where the ball ends up. Oh, it was a strike, okay. Everyone's so crazed about their spin rate and their velocity now, they just think that's really the only thing that matters. The hitter doesn't care about any of that stuff. If you throw stuff in the middle of the plate, in the heart of the plate, it could be the most elite pitch in the world. People are going to hit it hard. Not everybody, but they will. Okay, so train like this. Understand that your ERA is going to be higher in college than it was in high school. No doubt about it. But your goal should be a contributor from day one. And if you work on these things, practicing how you're throwing in your bullpen, throw it to live hitters, you're going to have a lot of success. Again, guys, most of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Something like 88% of people that are return viewers are not subscribed. If you're looking for a channel that provides you daily content with recruiting, college baseball news, development tips like this, hit that subscribe button. Really helps it out. Appreciate all the support you guys have thrown on the channel. Let me know what you think about this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think things I could add? I'd really appreciate it. Again, we're getting close to Christmas. Have a great holiday season and New Year's, and we'll be back with another video again. We're going to take a couple days off, Christmas Eve and Christmas, but we'll be back right after that. Again, thanks for all the support on the channel lately, guys. Really appreciate it.